And joining us to discuss more about the future we can look forward to as a result of this great conjunction is Amanda Ronson from Alchemy Healing, joining us from Tel Aviv. Hello, Amanda.
Hello, hello.
So we have many of us in the spiritual community have been kind of anticipating this and talking about it. And I think now for you, I'm sure firsthand you're getting experience on really feeling this change in your clients.
Most definitely. I'm seeing a lot within my clients at the moment. And we were connecting it greatly to the astrology of what's going on in the stars and the solstice this year, and definitely the welcoming and the heralding of the entrance into the age of Aquarius, because all the deep-seated fears are coming up from the people. You've got all this aggression, anger, frustrations, and this has been made so much worse with what's gone on with the corona and the isolation.
How do you see in your work just how the shift in energy alone will potentially kind of help people get through and get to that next phase of their spiritual development?
Well, as a healer, we work with the light, and we're bringing light into things. So we bring the light into various issues that's going on with somebody, and then their darkness surfaces and it releases. So we don't believe in disease, it's dis-ease, where there is blockages in the energy. So this is just happening to everybody, because when the light's coming in, and what everyone's going through right now is all of their dark stuff is surfacing. So it was all laid out, because we've come in from a time of, Mercury retrograde, with Mars retrograde.
In Aries, no less.
In Aries, okay? Meaning that it's created frustrations, power struggles, people have had terrible relationship problems.
Amanda, we're gonna come back after the break and discuss more, and how the ancients put so much stress and emphasis on these solstices. So we're gonna connect the dots when we come back after the break. We are here again with Amanda Ronson from Alchemy Healing, talking about the importance of this great conjunction and it happening on the winter solstice, which is a big deal if we go back and peel back the layers in the onion of history of all of the ancients, the Mayans, the Hopi, all kinds of indigenous cultures from around the world, placing such an importance on the solstices. So why is this year's, in your opinion, so important, and how it's all kind of connected to how the ancients went through this time?
Well, we know that the ancients had a massive emphasis on the sun. They were like celebrating the rebirth of the sun. They had it in every single culture. Now, you could argue that wintertime was a very important one for them, because, people were feeling sad. You've got, it was hard to get food. It was, well, wait a minute, it was the summer solstice on the other end, but I'm saying for the winter time now, that they were cold, they didn't have food. And so the thought was that they brought the light. When you have a festival of lights, you put light everywhere, you gifted things, you had dances, you did ceremonies, you could start bringing in the better energies. So it was a way to lighten the people in one way. Or secondly, if we were going to say, where did it first initially come from, which we're saying from the Mayans initially was the first bit of evidence that we have for the earliest man, that they were celebrating the solstice. We're saying that a lot more was going on, because they had a study, they did amazing studies of everything that was going on with the sun and all that there was around it. And they saw that there was a big relationship between the two. So we know that they were watching the sun and the solstices. And even we're believing it was from the time of Lemuria and Atlantis, that it was coming through from even further ancient knowledge. Because how could it be that all over the world that they are celebrating the same thing at the same time? Right. In every single culture, in every single religion? It's just not not possible. So, we definitely know there's a huge connection between the Earth, the sun, and specific periods of time. And I'm adding to that as well, because the Egyptians, between the equinoxes and the solstices, were talking about gateways and portals into another world.
Right.
So I believe that these alignments are very, very key.
Explain also, from having information about kind of how Stonehenge and all of these ancient structures and have been spotted, all over the world, thousands and thousands, of years, BC. I imagine that that's also connected from your knowledge of how it's connected, like ley lines, energy grids, all of this.
For sure, they knew something was going on. It's just not possible otherwise. I mean, Stonehenge has a beautiful light beam that goes across it at the time of the solstice. So it shows that the stones were completely aligned and they were expecting this. Then we're looking at the burial grounds of the old ancient sites in Ireland, and you've got one in Scotland. The names of them is Newgrange Island, and you've got Show, Scotland. And they were burial places and mounds, but they seem to have tunnels underneath them. And these tunnels are exactly at the point where the light goes in on the solstices. So, they knew. And when you go into the burial stuff, I'm telling you, it connects just to Egypt. And, they knew. Maybe they felt that they were going to go into new worlds at that exact moment in time. And there were openings, because it can't be that everything there is so showing a connection with the solstices.
Wow. And I mean, just to think about how advanced the technology was, and now we're in this new age of new technology living in these times, it just seems like every day more and more evidence and things are cropping up, putting these dots together between the past and the present.
No, absolutely.
Amanda, thank you so much, and enjoy the solstice.
Thank you. I will be.